Hi.
How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm good.
Good.
Really
Well,
good.
thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here. My little dog just hopped on my lap.
Oh, she's so cute. What was her name?
Oh, Lola.
Nice. What, is she a papillon? What kind of dog is she?
Yeah, she's a Papillon Pomeranian mix.
Oh, okay. She's beautiful. Glad to have her too.
Definitely, yeah, she likes to be present sometimes. So, yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm just getting
Like
over,
a little stretch.
yeah, I just did my embodiment practice, so I'm very, yeah, feeling very in my body.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't you so Caitlin and I met through Instagram and she came down to San Diego. Was it last year that we actually met in real life, which is so special when you meet someone online and then get to meet them in real life. We got to have lunch and just catch up and chat and have been friends since then. And I love the work that you're doing. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about your journey and how you came to do this type of work, specifically with feminine embodiment, which is the subject I just love.
Yeah, this is definitely like the latest evolution of my work, and it feels very edgy still to be like talking about it and offering it, which I love. So, yeah, what's the not long version? So my background is in nursing. Um, so I'm educated in Western medicine. I have my bachelor's and my master's and my doctorate in nursing. So I worked as a registered nurse and a nurse practitioner for a long time, family nurse practitioner, and just went through my own journey of being totally burnt out, mm, not feeling like I was really helping my patients in the deep, broad ways that I wanted to. I felt like I could only kind of, help from one aspect or address one thing, but not address people holistically. And so both of these things kind of happened at the same time where I just felt burnt out. I ended up at a horrible job that was like really toxic and I was not feeling fulfilled. I didn't feel like I was helping my patients, and everything really lined up in a way that allowed me to like pivot and do something new. And so I was like, what do I want to do? What kind of life do I want to create? What do I want to give people? And what really came out of it was deepening into what I call intuitive holistic health coaching. So I help women, feel healthy, get comfortable in their bodies, not only physically, but also emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And I do medical intuitive work, which is
Hmm.
more on the woo woo side, certainly as contrasted with my like education and stuff. So yeah, so I've been doing that for the last couple years, working with women one on one and working with women in groups, in terms of yeah, intuitive holistic health. And just recently, in the last number of months, I've just been having more that wants to come through. And so the more is really about divine feminine and embodiment and sensuality and sexuality and spirituality. And so I've recently given myself permission to just share more about those. And yeah, it just came to the point where it was like oozing out of me. I couldn't really contain it anymore. And I was like, I'm only supposed to talk about holistic health stuff, but this is holistic health stuff. Like, that's the great thing, right? Like, we have to be embodied. That's a huge part of our holistic health. And tapping into our sensuality and our sexuality is really like a vital life force energy that like runs through us. And so yeah, so that's why I reassure myself that I'm like still in my lane kind of.
Yeah.
But that's how I got here. Yeah.
Wow. So many things I want to touch on with that. And I guess the first thing is who is your ideal client? Like, what does a woman come to you with? Is it a woman like you who's burnt out, who's working too hard, who maybe is not embodied, not fully in her own sensuality and not experiencing her sexuality? Who do you help?
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of women that are feeling burnt out, whether it's from job a job or whether it's just from life, I work with a lot of perpetual overgivers. So those of us that show up as helpers in the world, and we love to nurture others and we love to help others, but then we like give, and we don't keep any of our for ourselves, or we don't receive. And that's not sustainable. Surprise, surprise. So yeah,
Yeah.
of the women that come and work with me are really desiring to feel more healthy, to have more ease, to have less stress, but like not only in their physical body, yes, in their physical body, they want to sleep and, you know, hydrate and like eat nourishing food and move their bodies in ways that feel good and have regular, perhaps even regular routines around that. Um, but it's also like being emotionally healthy and mentally healthy and spiritually healthy, and realizing all of that affects each other and ripples into the others. And yeah, and women who really want to do that from a lens of kind of anti-diet. So I'm not about weight loss at all. I don't really focus on weight loss. It's just all about the behaviors and feeling good in our bodies, and women that also want to do it with more pleasure, because I really think that pleasure is also a key component into all these things, so that they can be sustainable and so that we want to really bring them into our lives. And I think that's a new concept for a lot of people, that being healthy can actually be pleasurable instead of it being really restrictive and constricting.
Yeah, yeah. What are we unraveling as a society with regard to pleasure, and especially a woman's pleasure? I feel like that's been kind of like smashed down through the ages with the patriarchy and all of it. And I love that you're stepping out with this and stepping forward. It is new, it's fresh, it is what did you say, a little edgy, or it's not
Yeah.
scandalous in my opinion, but for some people it is pretty scandalous. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about that. I like the subject. I like that you this is what you embody totally, is the pleasure piece. So tell me more.
Thank you for that reflection. That means a lot. Um, yeah, I think, where do I want to start? It's like, of course, we've all been conditioned in the society the way we've grown up, and we have these health magazines that, you know, show us how to be like hardcore healthy. And um, there's like personal trainers. That's coming up for me because my last boyfriend was a personal trainer, and he was a really good like mirror to me in terms
Yeah.
of, bless him, bless him. But I realized it was the way that I didn't want to do health. Like I learned a lot from my relationship with him. And one of the things I learned was, yeah, that was a way I didn't want to do health. And so this pleasure piece, I've just been in a lot of circles over the last few years, actually talking about pleasure in business, because I realized as a woman and a like feminine identifying creature in business, as you probably know as well, there's all these different ways we can approach entrepreneurship in business. And I tried to do it this more like kind of masculine, structured, like pushing forward kind of directive way. And that was really exhausting and not enjoyable for me at all. And when I was introduced to this more kind of pleasurable, more feminine, I'll say, approach, and I mean feminine energy, this feminine energetic approach to business, that's when I really started enjoying business more. And then I was like, oh, hello, this is what I've been doing. Like I hadn't really connected that in my head of like, oh, this is what I've been doing with intuitive health. Also, it's kind of like feminine energetic of, rather than being super disciplined and like count your calories and make sure you're up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym every morning. You know, there's nothing implicitly wrong with being up at 5 a.m. and going to the gym. If that works for you, great. But just for yourself and the vast majority of people I work with, it just turns into a shame spiral because it's this standard that we can't meet. And so then we're not doing it well enough, and it's our fault instead of it being diet culture's fault or whatever. And
Yeah.
so that aren't good enough, and then we spiral and we spiral and we shame ourselves, rather than stepping into, yeah, this new paradigm where it's like, what if exercise wasn't a punishment for your body? What if it was actually a treat, whether it is going for a run or whether it is dancing or whether it's swimming or just going for a walk? Like our bodies are our temples and this like incredible vessel that we have. And so can we not like enjoy it? Can we not enjoy giving ourselves like nourishing food, and also, you know, recognizing that there's foods that nourish our bodies and there's foods that nourish our souls, and like that's okay too, you know, like a piece of fudge or whatever, like you're not gonna die. Like we get to nourish
Yeah.
parts of ourselves. And yeah, so just like really changing our mindset around it and changing the paradigm, instead of it being really about discipline and restriction and constriction, like denial. It's all about giving yourself these gifts and being in flow and like devotion to yourself and devotion to your body. And I mean, does
Love this
that get
thing.
better?
I love it. And I feel like so many women especially need to relearn this stuff, need to be told it's okay to be feminine, it's okay to be a woman. We don't have to push and be aggressive and live in that masculine kind of way, which is how I was raised. It was how I was doing business. And I've just recently come into a place where it is a more feminine approach. And you know, a big thing that was coming up when you were talking was intuition, right? Using
Yeah.
intuition. Mm-hmm.
Yes, using intuition, absolutely. I mean, one of the gifts that I have developed is my medical intuitive work, where I really connect with someone's energy and bring through information that would benefit them in these different ways: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And I love doing that for people. And I definitely am a believer. Like, I always start those sessions by saying, you are the expert on you, not me. So if I say anything that doesn't resonate, feel free to be like, no, because we've been giving our power away to outside experts so much. And this is why, you know, the woman's experience in Western medical, you know, it's like pain is dismissed, all sorts of things are dismissed, symptoms are dismissed. It's like, oh, it's just stress, it's just you know. Anyway, so we've been giving our power away to outside experts. So I always say you are the expert on you, and also how everything is connected, like mind, body, spirit, it's all connected. But yeah, so I really believe everybody has that intuitive knowing within themselves that they
Mm-hmm.
can tap into to really feel like they can make decisions from, and to just like guide their days and to guide their health, like
Yeah.
absolutely their
Yeah.
health day to day. And yeah, so I think that's so important, whether it's like making decisions on what you're going to eat or what movement you want to do that day, or if movement is right for you that day. And I think a lot of us receive our intuition. You know, we could talk about all the different clairs, right? Like there's all the different like clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, whatever. But there's also the intuition, like the wisdom of our bodies. And that's when
Mhm.
being embodied is you can feel your yes and your no in your body, or you can feel the wisdom of your body coming through. And so yeah, being able to tap into our intuition is so special and beautiful, and it takes practice. It can take practice, and that's okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, on these Instagram lives, I've pulled people on. We talk about healing, we talk about trauma, we talk about plant medicine. I love that you're bringing in this very like feminine embodiment practice, you know, which is healing. I feel like this is offering people so much healing, just to listen to their bodies, get into their bodies. Our bodies speak to us, or when there is trauma, when there's something that needs to be healed, that's, you know, going to come up. How do you best serve someone and support someone through the process of what comes up? Because I think a question or a reply that I get when I you know, suggest hypnosis or plant medicine to really dig into some of those deeper places where some of that trauma lies. Um, a lot of people say I'm afraid of what's going to come up, and what would be, how would you support and guide someone through that? I'm just curious to know your way.
Yeah, I think that's, I really, I'm smiling because I avoided my embodiment practice because I didn't want to face what was coming up yesterday. Like I knew I was going to cry. I knew I was going to feel sad. So yesterday I kept putting off my practice, and I didn't do it. And then this morning I knew I had to do it. And so I did it, and I cried, and I feel so much better. So yeah, I think it's just, I think it can be learning how to trust ourselves. It can be doing it with someone that we really trust to hold a container for us. I think it's being really gentle and compassionate for ourselves and knowing that it's okay. I think it can feel like, especially when we've been stuffers and we haven't been in touch with all this stuff, it feels like if you take the lid off, it's just going to explode, go everywhere and be a big mess. And sometimes it might, and that's okay. Your messy is beautiful. It's kind of like break down to break through. Sometimes you just have to have the breakdown, and it's actually very cathartic to get to the other side. But also knowing that you don't have to go full out, like wild woman, or you can just, be gentle. You can turn it on a little bit. You can sit with it for 1 minute. You can sit with the feeling for 1 minute, or you can let yourself cry for 1 minute. And then you can be like, okay, I'm done for today. Right? That sort of thing. So I think it's just being really gentle and compassionate with ourselves, knowing that we don't have to go 0 to 60. We can just, that's why I've been saying for this experience that's coming up on Friday, I've been saying like, let's tiptoe into this together. Like, let's tiptoe into it, because I can feel that it's scary for people.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not saying, hey, come to this thing and we're all gonna like run around naked and scream. Like that's really fun, but we're not, that's jumping in the deep end. We're just gonna tiptoe with like being in your body. What does it feel like to breathe and be in your body, and maybe have some anxiety come up and like continue to sit with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like baby steps and gentleness is okay. And if people are ready for it, like, yeah, plant medicine, right? Like I think of that maybe more like deep end, but
Yeah, that's true.
plant medicine are we talking about, right? Like I have for the embodiment experience, I've been saying there's an option to use cannabis to help drop yourself into your body a little bit more. That's something I've been playing with, is like using cannabis kind of ceremonially and intentionally. And boy, it makes me so much more body conscious, and just like I can feel the energy moving in my body differently. And so that's maybe a gentler way to use plant medicine.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. That's how my friend Jessica guides people through an experience. She puts a mask on them, and they go in and they have the experience. And what a gift. What a gift to be brave enough to go there and to face those things. I mean, I know in 2014 I reached a point where I couldn't go on any longer. I was at such a low point. I couldn't, like, living just didn't seem like an option any longer, and I knew I had to make a drastic change. I had to be brave. I had to go head on into my own shadow, into the darkness. And ayahuasca helped with that process. But even beyond that, even 7 years later, I'm still having to go into it. I feel like it's never complete. We never reach a point in life where like the work is done, right?
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process. And I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about the event you're having on Friday, in case anyone watching live or watching the replay. Tell us a little bit more about your offering on Friday.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So it's called the Embodiment Experience, but I keep accidentally saying Embodiment Experiment, which I think is also true because it is an experiment. And so it's an invitation for people who feel like they want to be, for women who feel like they want to be more connected to their bodies, present in their bodies, more embodied, for women that want to feel more pleasure in general and who want to tap into their sensuality, because all of these things are really the same thing. Like you if you're present in your body and you're just present to like the sensation of moving your wrists and your hands, there's pleasure in that. And once a woman is feeling pleasure in her body, that's sensual and that's magnetic, right? I love these hearts that are coming up.
Yeah, right.
Very very different than like trying to be sexual for the male gaze, is like a totally different energy than like feeling, being totally present in your body and feeling the pleasure of just what it feels like to move your body and to feel energy move through your body, and then to breathe into that, and then to maybe add a noise to that. So we say, you know, we use breath, sound, and movement. Um, and yeah, so that's what we're doing. So I'm just guiding people who really are new to this, like maybe somebody that's been practicing for a long time or a shorter amount of time that wants to um, feel into this. They're certainly welcome to. But what I really see is women that are kind of new to this, that are just like, ooh, that sounds fun, but like, eek, I'm a little nervous about
Yeah.
it. That's how I see most people coming to it, is like, ooh, I want that. And also it makes me a little bit nervous. Um,
That's good. You know, that's a good thing when we're a little scared of something. Yeah, and it's a Zoom event. Is it a free event? Are you asking for donations? How does that work in for
it's a
you?
Zoom event. It's $25. I've
Mhm.
limited 20 people. I see most people having their videos off. Sorry, I really don't want, I see most women having their videos off. I don't want people to be concerned about how they look. That,
Okay.
that's in our heads, and we want to be in our bodies. So,
Um,
yeah, so it's an hour and a half event on Friday night at 6 o'clock Pacific time, $25. And yeah, and I'm just going to guide people through a really simple organic practice. You can't do it wrong. Nobody will be watching you. So it's a very safe, gentle, loving, non-judgmental container. Maybe if people are really nervous, like you were saying, maybe someone just comes and like watches it and doesn't even do it. Or maybe they give themselves permission to just move their hand, right? Or like just move their arm. That's totally okay. So people can dose themselves just a little bit, or they can let themselves loose a little bit more. And the replay is also available, so people can sign up. And if you can't join live, then you can get the replay. And of course, those that are there live will also get the replay, so that you could do this again and again as a practice if someone.
one. Yeah, yeah. You know, I love just that little motion of like moving my hands. It did, and closing my eyes. It did feel so good and so like sensual just to be in this body. And I feel like so many women, so many of us are cut off from our bodies. We have dissociated at some point in life, and I feel like that's kind of like step number one. Well, besides like addressing diet and sort of those foundational things, like you mentioned, sleep, diet, water, you know, community, but I feel like the first step is like getting back into one's body, feeling what it feels like to be in your body. I love that idea. And again, I feel like so many women need to have that practice of embodiment, of getting back into the body. Is this something you find when you're working with women? Is that, oh my God, they're like totally disconnected from their body?
Yes, that was one of the like parallel funny things of how this is all. I mean, of course, it's just all kind of like divinely evolving. But yeah, in these medical intuitive sessions that I do, I found it coming up over and over again of like, especially the more like mystical women that I work with, it's like we
Mm.
can live in the ethers up here and be totally not connected to like our root chakra and our bodies down
Yeah,
earth.
yeah.
And yeah, so I did see it coming up over and over again of just like inhabit your body more. And that's the great thing, again, how this is all connected, because we can do that through sleep and our, you know, sleep routine or morning routine. And we can do that through food, and we can do that through hydrating of like, but we have to be present for it rather than it just being like, you know, this constrictive discipline, whatever hardcore thing. It's like being present in our bodies and doing all of these things from that place of inhabiting our bodies. But yeah, I was seeing that a lot of women were kind of disembodied, or then disconnected from their sensuality.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you allow it to be okay, but because of who you are. Just all your posts and your videos, and like you're all about just bringing this embodiment and no shame. like no guilt. Like you are unapologetic about what you bring to the table. And I love that because it then inspires women to be like, all right, she's doing it. I'm going to do it too, you
Yeah.
know? So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Oh,
I so appreciate that. That's what I would desire to bring. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, it's my Scorpio true nature. So I can't, but I'm glad it's part of the medicine that I get to bring. And the truth is, I didn't always. I mean, when I was working as a nurse practitioner, like in a white coat, like I wasn't going around oozing sensual embodiment. Like, no, I was totally disconnected. I was totally in my masculine. I was totally in my head and my intellectual. And I mean, yeah, I feel like I remember not wanting to appear too feminine, like anyways, yeah, to like, because I wanted to be taken seriously, right?
right.
So,
What a lie. What a lie we've been fed with that. To be taken seriously means to be serious and masculine, and it's just it's not the truth of who we are. And can we talk a little bit about self-love? Is that part of the journey you take women through? Because I feel like that's a key piece in the journey of life and healing is the self-love piece.
totally. I I probably I don't typically address it kind of like head on, but it's implicit in everything that we're talking about again, because like when we're talking about all the foundational health stuff, right? We can either do it from this place of like punishing our bodies, or we can do it from this place of like loving and respecting our bodies and valuing our bodies, even if we don't like the shape that it's taking right now or whatever, um, to still value it and like be able to treat your body as something that deserves your love and your care through these foundational practices. That's totally a piece of it, right? And then in the emotional mental, it's like self-love comes in the form of like boundaries, right? And like asking for what you want and like naming your desires. And then in the spiritual realm, the spiritual part of health, it's really like, for me, I would say it's, recognizing the divinity within ourselves. And so it's like, how can you not love yourself? But yeah, and then through embodiment as well, it's like when you're out of your brain, and so you're a little bit less attached to all these critical thoughts that come through. It's like when you're just, touching your legs, or dare I say, touching your stomach, like an area that I know a lot of women can feel self-conscious about. Like when you're just in your body and you're disconnected from all of the self-critical brain thoughts that your silly mind comes up with, then like it can actually feel really good, and you can actually like appreciate the like soft plumpness of your body or belly or butt or whatever it is, but yeah, so it's like self-love is an integral part of all of this. And I think people get to weave it into their foundational practices, and they get to weave it into the embodiment, and it all gets to all part of the journey together, I guess. It's not like, to me, it's not like people have to learn the self-love piece first and then do all the other stuff. It's like,
Mm. Yeah, yeah. It's a lifelong practice, I think, the self-love piece. You know,
yeah,
I was challenged by a man I was dating last year, and I looked in the mirror for an extended period of time. And if you want to like hop into the depth of your own soul, like look into your eyes in a mirror for an extended period of time. And I broke down crying and sobbing. It was as if, in 40 years of being on this earth, I had never seen myself in that capacity. And I'd never like had that level of compassion and love. And like, it was just a profound experience. The simple act of just gazing into my own eyes in the mirror, it kind of blew my mind that I had never experienced that before.
yeah, that's a beautiful practice. I got chills when you were talking about that. So I feel like that's really powerful, probably for someone that's listening as well, to do that. I've
Yeah.
never that. I've never done that. Like, do you mean 5 minutes, 10 minutes,
Oh
longer?
God, it was probably like 90 seconds. I mean, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. And I don't know if you've ever had these experiences Like they did this at the retreat center in Peru, where you pick a partner, someone you don't know, and you sit with them face to face and gaze into each other's eyes for like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's vulnerable. It's such a vulnerable thing to do, to allow someone to kind of like see into your soul, and tears get shed and laughter breaks out, but you're supposed to keep a gaze with that person, eye gazing. I think that's what the practice is called. But
Yeah.
even with yourself, eye gazing with yourself to like foster that self love and that just sense of intimacy with self. I don't know if you caught last week's talk, but my friend Erin, she's a doctor in Oregon, but she does a self-marriage. She's all about us marrying ourselves, and she takes people through a year-long process um, of you know I think that there's that understanding that we we might be with people through life, we might have relationships, but this is the relationship we have lifelong. And why not love yourself? Why not marry yourself? Why not make this the best relationship possible? And I feel like that's a big part of your work, is what you're doing with that.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I think what you're talking about is really reclamation. Hi, Diana. Like reclamation and sovereignty. But yeah, so like the idea of self-marriage, I've also, um, I have, yeah, participated in a ritual of marrying myself. And boy, it's really just like this calling back of your energy and this like calling back of your power, because again, we've like given it away so much, um, whether it's to partners or family or friends or Western medicine or like experts or whoever it is. Yeah, so that's like a really powerful thing to like reclaim. And that's also, the embodiment experience, any embodiment work, it's like reclaiming your body for yourself and reclaiming your sensuality and your sexuality for yourself first. It can be for other people if you choose to give that gift to someone, but like having it just be for yourself first. And then, of course, ironically, that's what's the most magnetic, you
Mm,
know, right?
so true. And
Yeah.
I think we fall into this trap that we believe that when we're in a romantic relationship, that person should give everything to us. They should be our counselor and our sexual partner and our best friend and like everything. And I think there needs to be a little more reliance on self, and like you said, the self sovereign sovereignty is a key piece in that.
Yeah. And I also love this idea that I've seen floating around more recently of like, I don't know how to say it and do it justice or not misrepresent it, but I'll just say it and trust it comes out right. Kind of this idea of, in our society, certain partnerships are valued over other partnerships, right? Like, so basically, romantic partnership is like highly, highly, highly valued, major milestone. And then other partnerships, like with our friends, aren't really as valued. And so this idea of kind of like bringing friendship to the elevation of partnership, like
Hmm.
as, um yeah, I don't know, like just treating your friends as partnership too. Like these are deep, right? Like deep, soul level connections that we have with our friends. And you can almost be kind of like romantic with your friends, or you can like flirt with your friends. Like you can, but yeah, exactly, like this idea that it's like, oh, the partnership gets all of this and then
Hmm.
all these responsibilities, and then the friends are over here too. It's kind of just like, yeah, we get to mix it up a little bit more, and ultimately then, right, like partnering with ourselves. Yeah.
I love that. It's good timing because my best friend since sixth grade is visiting. She's somewhere in the house right now, but I feel like she and I have that kind of bond. Like sometimes your soulmate isn't a romantic partner. Sometimes the soulmates come in different forms. So I love that. I love like honoring those people. And yeah, elevating the friendship. I really like that. I haven't heard it said in those terms before, but I think that's really important. Thank
Yeah.
you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I really like that. It's another way of thinking of community building and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
that too.
Yeah, well, amazing. So, Caitlin, how can people find you? So, everybody, if you're listening to this replay, you can definitely follow Caitlin on Instagram and on Facebook. Do you have a Facebook group that's open to people who just want to see what you're about?
Yeah, yes, I do. So as you can see on Instagram, I'm Dr. Caitlin Jarvis, and my Facebook group is called Intuitive Holistic Health and Wellness for Women. And the link for that is also in my bio, or you could look it up on Facebook. But yeah, Intuitive Holistic Health and Wellness for Women. There's like 1,300, 1,400 women in there now. And yay, more hearts. I love that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and so it's just a place where we all go to like share obstacles, share celebrations and wins. Sometimes I do like live coaching in there, and yeah, so I love that space, and it's a very safe, kind of like body positive place, like anti-diet. Again, we don't talk about like weight lists, we don't, or
Mhm.
weight loss, we don't critique our bodies in there. But yeah, so intuitive holistic health and wellness for women. And if people want to attend the embodiment experience, thank you, Diana, for all the happy emojis. Embodiment experience is a one-time offering for now. I don't know if I'll want to do it more in the future. But right now it's a one-time thing and it's coming up this Friday. Like I said, the link to that is also in my bio and there are still some spots left. So I would love for people to join if they feel called to that. And then I also have one or two private coaching spots with myself where I really work one-on-one with a woman in like a 6-month container and create kind of a beautiful, gentle, but powerful transformation in terms of health and self-healing when it comes to the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And of course, with this pleasure, sensuality, embodiment thing infused now because I can't help it. So
You have to bring that. You have to. That's who you are now.
part,
Yeah, yeah. It's who you've always been, really. You just
yeah,
uncovered it recently, right?
it's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, and I guess I should name that. Like this didn't it happened naturally or it's natural to me, but it's because I did work to de-shame it. I mean, I've been doing work to like peel back layers, to create safety in myself, to allow myself to be authentic, to allow myself to be vulnerable, and to de-shame all these parts of myself. And so, yeah, it's a journey for sure.
Awesome. Awesome, Caitlin. Wow. And then, something I want to ask you that I ask all of my guests on these IG lives on Tuesday at 10 a.m. What are your hopes and your dreams for the future of humanity? Where do you see us going?
Uh,
Um, where's the ship headed? How are you feeling positive about it?
I am feeling positive about it. Of course, yeah, I think we're in the middle of some really deep work as a collective. And I do think that we're also in the middle of an ascension as a collective. Um, and boy, my vision of the future is really for folks to be embodied and integrated and connected with both their masculine and their feminine energies. The masculine energies, the yin and yang energies that are within both within all genders. And so when we can de-shame those parts of ourselves and value those parts of ourselves again, then I think that's when we'll see more equality and more peace and more kindness and more love like in the world as a whole. So yeah, harmony.
Beautiful. Thank you, Diana, for those all your words. I love it. I love it.
Mm.
Oh, Caitlin, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love the work that you're doing in the world. I'm so happy you stepped out. You quit the job.
Yeah.
These are the people I love to connect with are like Western trained, like have gone through all the training, but have maybe gone into that work and be like, like this isn't it. There's something deeper, like with my work, I'm trained as a naturopathic doctor, but also seeing when I work with people, there's always something deeper. We have to dig a little deeper. There's healing. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the difference between being a nurse or being a doctor or being a healer, right? I think the healer is a more important piece in someone's journey. So
Yeah.
I honor what you're doing, and I just love seeing you grow and blossom. And I can only imagine what you're doing for the women that you're serving too, and the healing that you're progressing on Mother Earth. So
Yeah.
big. Oh,
Thank you so
big
much.
thanks to you.
Sarcasm. That's
Love it.
yeah. I'm so grateful. I love connecting with you. So grateful to be able to come on here and chat. And yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, all right. And again, everyone, you can follow Dr. Caitlin and join her Facebook group. Caitlin, I would love to link to your Facebook group. Oh, Diana.
That
Diana's so sweet.
was
Thank you, Diana. Oh, I'm feeling so warm inside in my heart. But let's link to your group when I post this video. So we'll chat about that. And yeah, keep up the amazing work. And many blessings on your day and for your event on Friday.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you so much. Yeah, and just everybody, I hope everybody has a really beautiful, embodied, heart-connected day.
Yeah. All right. Sending big love to you, Caitlin.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.